past the transom.
Copy.
New hit.
Other is all out.
Roger. You can have your computer back, Denny. I got it here now. And if you would, Denny, can you turn on the ONC CTD?
Have back deck. We are straightened out with Atalanta, but just have Hercules tug a little bit once it gets completely laid out. There it goes.
Roger.
Copy. Tugging.
I'm going to turn on your Sea King.
Sure. I'm
You guys are good and in line.
Giving her all she's got, Captain. Full ahead. As a matter of fact, we're pinned 100% power. Look at Atalanta bucking in the traces. Come on, let's go, Dad. Let's go. Can you turn on my starboard or port valve pack or whatever?
Port valve pack is on.
How about the starboard?
That's automatic.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it does. The line or the, what are you talking about? Sorry, which line? The tail line? Yes, please.
Nav deck, we have Atalanta away.
Oh, that's my
Copy.
Hercules is dive, dive, dive. It's tradition. Come on, Herc, you can do it. I should have had you turn your radio down there. Sorry, what was that about Atalanta's line? I didn't copy. Oh, you mean the camera's crooked? Oh. I should have stopped and had Mike clean it.
You ready for dive, Salvo?
Not quite yet. 50 meters maybe. I'm watching the wire.
You know, I'm looking for comps.
There wasn't a super slow descent in this dive plan, was there?
I don't think so.
No, there's no vertical.
Cameras are
transit on
coming
the way down.
online now.
Why are you fighting me so hard?
Nav, back deck, I'll stop at 50 meters, sending control.
Roger.
Copy.
We have control.
Back deck, we have control.
Copies.
You want to pay out for me, Danny, about 20 meters a minute? I prefer you hold it for now until we get down 100 meters
I was
or
just
so.
trying to get my...
Don't worry about that stuff now. Let's get down to a couple hundred meters here. Pay out, mate. Pay out.
I'm looking on it. I don't like jamming a wrench.
Especially in this weather. I'm fighting a bit here. The current's sweeping me around. Johan, we can hold position here. We're pulling 30.6 amps, but other than that, all good. I guess I should change that.
Hey ROV, how's it going?
It's going swimmingly.
Excellent. Just a heads up, we are doing no vertical transect on this dive. No vertical transect.
Negative and vertical transect, roger. Let's get down to the good stuff, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Hustle.
We're gonna take it just a little bit slow to begin with here. So we got a little bit of weather, so
Yeah.
get a little bit of weight on that wire before we start going to ludicrous speed.
Yeah, for sure. Easier on the termination.
Oh, you're moving it. Okay.
It's running away. Nicely done, Johan. Nicely done. 0 some wraps, 068, 0 tether wraps. That's not on our checklist.
Beautiful. Look how beautiful those
Amber.
gas tights are.
Thank you. You rock. That just warms my heart so much. Thank you.
Good morning, folks. Dan, besides a warm heart, how you doing this morning?
I am doing most excellent.
Excellent.
Living the dream up here, baby. Headed to Endeavor with a
Yeah, this should
front
be...
porch full of toys to play with.
Mm-hmm. How you doing, Danny? How you doing this morning?
Excellent.
Craft is hot. Hot, hot, hot.
Oh, we got a squid. Bye.
What are you making? 25?
Making 25.
And well, I'm good with that for a while.
How you doing this morning, Steph?
I'm good. Pretty wide awake,
Excellent.
even with all the boat rocking.
How did you guys like that spicy launch?
That's a little spicy. A little spicy.
Did you see Atlanta bucking on the deck?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Dad, let's go, let's go. You see Mike put his spurs on and kick it for all it was worth. Pretty impressive performance by our deck crew.
Ooh, look at that squid. Look at him go.
The packages seem to be riding nicely through the weather launch.
Do we have the CTD on, Dan?
Yes, ma'am, we sure do.
Amazing.
I think. Danny
Yes, I turned it on.
Sweet.
Oh, there goes another squid. Wonder if they're attracted to Herc's lights. What do you think?
Yes, they are.
Mm.
There's one of those scary siphonophores. As soon as we get about 5,000 pounds on the wire, we'll speed up a little bit.
So Mike, you're gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but the tools on the porch here, we've got a bars, which is for temperature, and we've got some gas tights. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome.
Appears to be a bars and 4 gas tights. It's a Swiss Army knife of ROVs.
The gas tight?
Wow, all that jewelry on the porch.
I see.
I think it's purdy.
I think the downward cam's going to become very handy when it comes to picking those gas tights up.
And why is that?
Just the angle.
Yeah? Can you tell us a little bit about how they work? Danny?
Roger. Sorry, I was talking to Lynette.
Oh, no.
Gas tights. Gas tights been around almost as long as I have, probably longer. They capture hydrothermal vent fluid at pressure.
Ooh.
And retain that pressure all the way up until they get processed on what they used to finally refer to as the beast. A big wall contraption, looks like some mad scientist built. Wait, a bad scientist did build it. And it distills the water out of the gas, and they wind up with a little glass ampule full of vent fluid or gas.
Neato.
Yeah, very cool. They are notoriously troublesome for ROV operators. They have they're under vacuum right now, so the little colored 3D printed plastic gizmos you see waving around in the breeze there are trigger stops, basically, so we don't inadvertently touch one of the triggers while we're getting them out or handling them. And we have to get them, first we have to probe the vent. Sometimes we root around a little bit to open it up. And then we take a live temperature sample with our temperature wand. And then we stick a little 1/4 inch on the end of them, which you can't see. There's a little 1/4 inch stainless steel tube. And we stick that into the, right into the active vent. And then we use our other manipulator to push the trigger. It was kind of a ballet of 2 manipulators while maintaining the tip within the vent within plus or minus 1/4 inch.
That does sound relatively precise, I admit. No, those trigger protectors you mentioned, is that because they fire quickly like a Niskin?
No, they're it's just easy to inadvertently touch them with the manipulator.
Makes
especially
sense.
While we're, you know, getting them out of their stowage position. So they're in there kind of tight because, you know, scientists are greedy. They want 4 when 2 would do. And ROV operators are greedy too because they like to play with their toys. So we pack as many on there as we possibly can.
I guess as long as it's mutual, right?
Totally. But they're a bit, yeah, they're a bit unwieldy. They're heavy, and they have a, you know, it's a rather large moment that's hanging off the end of the manipulator. And one wrong move, and we inadvertently trigger them. They're a one-time trigger because the chamber's prepared in at OSU in Oregon, so they're ready to, you know, suck vent fluid inside. So if we accidentally hit the trigger, that's it for that instrument for the dive. And a lot of work has gone into getting them to where they are now, and that's a lost opportunity. So
They're somewhat literally named. They are gas tight, so if you fire them, then they're no longer gas tight, and then they don't work.
And a lot of times the ROV is perched on a marvel or a twig or a rock on the side of a vent structure. And we could be 20, 30, 40 meters up. And we can't see very well because of the vent fluid. And, you know, a lot of times we're up at an odd angle where we're in really tight, so we can get in to reach the vent without, you know, cooking the ROV. So it's not only the manip that can hit them, but we can, you know, hit them on the rocks or the other manip or whatever. So they can be really fun or really heartbreaking.
I think Orion's going to show us what it can do for this dive.
And what's Orion, Danny?
Orion is our left arm.
Cool.
That's the one you see right there in the middle of the camera holding on to the bars instrument.
Okay, I'm going full stick here.
Speeding up.
maximum power.
You're going 28. Okay, I'll follow you.
Catch me if you can.
Well, these little fish going by are my favorite. They're, I believe they're lanternfish, which is a bioluminescent fish. And they've got little dots on their sides, and they like to communicate by lighting up to each other like Christmas lights.
I missed one of our sonars. Was that me or you that missed it?
Which sonar you need?
I don't know. One's not turned on. Yours is not turned on.
Well, you didn't start it.
What's that?
Did you not start it?
Did you not start it? Is yours on?
SBS is on.
US, mezzo, whatever.
Yeah, mezzo's on.
Is it?
Altimeter, throttle.
Cycle power to it? Sonar?
Sonar.
That's not good.
I might have not had it on when you hit the start button.
Can you unpause the Tritech sonar too? You got a mouse all the way over to the right. There we go, that's better.
Got a question here about the descent, whether or not it's Herc's weight that is causing us to descend, and it is not. It is the lovely Dan on the thrusters sending us down. What would happen if we were to stop thrusting down?
We would slowly float up. We're about, we try and go in about 50 pounds positively buoyant.
So no, you really do have to drive it right to the bottom.
Herc is currently exhibiting, bleh, I can talk. We're currently 100% thrust down. Gonna blazing 30 meters a minute. So really only, what's it? That's not right. Really? 62 minutes and 3 seconds till we hit the bottom.
That's what our dive plan says, 2196.
Roger. That's what I penciled in.
It's that 3 seconds is going to make or break us.
Because, you know, the dive plan is never long.
Well, the good news is, so far so good on Herc depth sensor. Telemetry seems to be rock solid.
Yes, it does. I love that.
Woohoo!
Unfortunately, we don't know if it was whether the cable or the unit because we switched them both out. That's not very scientific of us, but
No, that was not very
we
scientific.
threw the toolbox at it.
In an abundance of caution, we threw the toolbox at it. Those little dancing trigger guards are mesmerizing.
I love the color, how vivid the color is.
Yeah, I like the yellow. We should have done an RGB for video so they could dial in their camera.
since we're underway, why don't we start with a round of introductions of folks in the van. I'll go first. I am Monica, and I am in the SCF seat. I'm with Ocean Networks Canada's K-12 Education Coordinator. And I'm going to pass it. Yeah, making eye contact. I see you. Who are you?
Hey, I'm Steph. I'm data steward with Ocean Networks Canada. And I am doing the data logging tonight. So capturing everything that we do for the operations side.
Thanks. Hey, Video, you up? You up for it?
Yep, this is Ashley on video.
Thanks, Ashley. And how about front row? How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Danny, ROV pilot.
Dan, ROV pilot.
Lynette, navigator.
Fantastic. That's our crew this morning. And we are heading down to Main Endeavour Field, where we're going to do some science, which is, you know, no points for that answer. We're going to do some pretty interesting stuff down there. We've got some gas tights on the front of the ROV, and we've got some bars for testing temperature.
Is this the grotto bars at the bottom of Smoke and Mirrors?
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
We're also going to be doing some multi-beam from the ROV for the first time.
Very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Multi-beam from the ROV?
Not really.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, no, that's the
I
best
just know it's
thing
happening for the first time.
Very cool. Hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying I don't know. That is the best thing, rather than telling us something made up, because I'd have believed you.
We have Master Jake Bonney hiding back there at the navigator table. He is the multi-beam specialist on this shift.
Hey, Jake, can you tell us about multi-beam?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh.
I would not say I qualify for any of those labels, but
More qualified than I am.
I can give it a shot.
Yeah, go for it.
The multi-beam on the vehicle is a sonar, similar to the ship's multi-beam sonar that we use to map the seafloor. However, on the ROV, we get a much higher resolution, so we can see basically centimeter scale things, rather than with the ship we see anywhere from 20 to 100 meters depending on the depth. So the multi-beam sonar, it's called Norbit, is mounted on the brow where all the other lights and some of the cameras are mounted up front. And so we'll fly about 20 meters off the bottom, and 20 to 30 meters off the bottom, and collect the multi-beam data as we fly along and survey the bottom, similar to how we do mapping with the ship, just a little bit closer.
Cool. Are we having a look at it?
We are indeed.
On feed one?
Can you pick out the multi-beam and the array of sonars that are on the front of the vehicle?
Of the three, I'm going to guess blue.
Fail.
I guess the one on the left with the
Squid.
What does he call it,
the
Jake?
shape.
What did he call?
The funny.
K2 has a word for the long cylindrical black thing. I wouldn't have known that either, by the way.
Yeah. What does he call it? I can't remember.
The Nautilus.
The Nautilus.
That's the shape of that head, the transducer head there.
Yeah.
Is it a legit shape, or is that just a K2ism?
I think that's just a K2ism.
Why, did you slow down, Dan?
No, I'm 13 meters below you. You can zoom in there, Ashley.
Well, you're only going 18 meters a minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, let me push some buttons here and see what I can do. The current's swinging me around, so my auto heading is fighting each other, and one thruster going forward, one thruster going backwards. I need to rectify that. So I can use my handy dandy rear view mirror cameras. I can see my thrusters spinning there. So cool.
That's like high-tech cars nowadays. I'm pretty sure I saw a car and its rear view mirror was actually just its backup camera. But it was up in the, you know, like where your rear view mirror sits on your,
Yeah.
it was just a screen. This is the world we live in.
Well, I mean, Teslas have like 7 cameras on the outside of the car.
What's that?
Maybe Nav, you can tell us about this, or the shape, the, what do we call it? The Norbitron?
Nautilus.
The Norbulus.
Norbitron.
Is that relative to this kind of swath of data that you'll get? So building a map one and Norbulus at a time? The way that I'm envisioning it is kind of like laying down rows of stitches, where you'd get your first row of stitches, and then you'd go back and do another row of stitches, and then go back and get another row of stitches. Is that anything close to what might happen?
Ashley, can you zoom in a bit more?
So
Good.
we're essentially collecting, so the way the multi-beam works is we kind of ensonify an area of the water column and the seafloor that is sort of, you can think of it as like triangle shaped.
Okay.
So the top peak of the triangle, you can think of that as being at the transducer that you're seeing. And then the wide part of the triangle is on the seafloor. So that is kind of what we call the swath. And that is the area of the seafloor that we're insonifying, and then listening for that echo and calculating the depth from that. We're essentially pinging as fast as we can when we're in really shallow water or very close to the seafloor, like we will be with Hercules. We can ping very fast, several times a second. And yeah, so we'll be getting really good data density in kind of a swath that goes from the left side to the right side of the vehicle. And as we drive along, we'll kind of paint a swath underneath us, and then, you know, we can turn around and do the same thing in the opposite direction, but offset a little bit to collect in areas that we haven't seen yet.
Thank you. We've had a viewer type in, what differentiates a pilot versus a navigator?
I don't really like the term ROV pilot.
Oh,
I think it's very misleading.
Tell us more.
It's anybody can pilot this ROV. It takes very little special training. If you can drive a car, you can drive an ROV.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of systems we have to monitor and look at and maintain and understand how the system works.
Exactly, but you don't need to know all that to drive it. Do you know how all that stuff works in your car? You probably do because you're a geek, but...
I was like, I can't speak for the, average Joe, but...
I would say out of the 8 people in this room, all of them can drive a car, but not all of them know how the fuel injection works, or how many sensors are in the fuel injection system, or what the ratio of air to fuel mixture going into the fuel injection system is, but they can still drive the car, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could drive an ROV, but to actually pilot an ROV and understand why it's doing what it's doing and be able to diagnose problems on the fly.
There you go.
And being able to be like an airline pilot or an airplane pilot.
A pilot, an airline pilot doesn't know how the engine works.
No, but they know all their gauges, and they know when gauges are not reading the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah, I know the gauges of my car. I got a gas gauge.
I mean, now
That's the only one I really know how it works. The rest of them are just lights. Same with this. It's either green or red.
Dan, what would you?
Red is bad.
What
Green
would
is
you
good.
give the label? Operator? Is that
Yeah, operator's not quite there either, right? Because that's the easy part of this and the fun part of this job. Half the fun part.
Don't kill the golden goose. We got specialized people to operate this vehicle.
Yeah. We are more.
Can push some levers around and drive a. If they know how to play a video game, they can fly a vehicle.
Well, my day job title is a technician. Jake's is an engineer. Yours is a engineer, machinist.
Subsea robotics support technician.
Yeah.
My actual job title.
I was going to say the difference between a pilot and a navigator was the attitude, which I think I think Dan has proven in his answer.
There's some, I have this little thing right here on my chair. Some clever navigator labeled it ego inflator. It pumps up my lumbar support.
I don't know, I kind of compare this with fighter pilots a little bit. You know, we gotta understand how the vehicle works, why it's doing what it's doing, and we have to be able to fly it in very tricky and specialized situations.
Yeah, that's my thing. So.
And y'all would just be going in circles without me.
I think we go in circles with you too.
I sidestepped the question there. That doesn't define the difference between a. One of the similarities between an ROV pilot and a navigator is Lynette has to know not only how to operate the 3 computers that are in front of her. There's like 4 more in the data lab. She has to mechanically put down a rather complicated piece of equipment through a moon pool out of the bottom of the ship. I saw her on the deck during mobilization putting the thing together, giant wrenches and big nuts and bolts and a roll of rope, inner tubes, anti-seize. At the same time, she has a several $100,000 USBL head attached to all that contraption.
Is it a Sonardyne Ranger system? Is that the USBL you use?
Yeah, Ranger 2 is the software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a Sonardyne head though, or is it?
Yeah.
Can you use that software with any head?
It's a Sonardyne transceiver, yeah.
Dan, Tom K is requesting an 8mm fisheye to get an idea of the field of view.
That's going to be scientist Tom.
8mm fisheye?
Nah.
Can you zoom out on the 8mm fisheye setting, please, to get an idea of the FOV?
Hey, back row, are we wanting to land on the IP?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always a great place to get our bearings and follow some cables.
Roger.
Because it's relatively hazard-free compared to other parts in this.
Yeah, excellent.
It's going to be, when you press the photogrammetry button, the fisheye camera is going to roughly go to that.
All right.
View.
So like timer start?
No, you don't need to do it now.
Oh, okay.
But I can manually do it here, but when you do that, it'll
automatically fix itself.
It will automatically zoom the fisheye camera to 8mm.
Dan, do you mind if I start moving the ship back a little bit to get us closer to this?
No, please do.
Okay.
Not as heavy as I'd like us to be.
Bridge nav.
Barely breaking 22.
Yeah, I got quite a bit of
Can we
forward
get
on.
50 meters 150, please? Thank you.
I like to be late for this. We're picking up stuff and moving it around.
Not as much sediment to worry about, though.
Video, you can zoom out, please, Ashley. And check on the package with our other camera here. I didn't get any comments on bubble guard or bubble camera moving around down there.
I saw that you were having a laugh to yourself.
I had my eye on you.
Package looks secure.
Looks like the weather's only getting better from here.
So I'm going to zoom back out on that. Did you get an idea of what the 8mm is going to look like? I forget the millimeters of that zoomed all the way out. And then that's, I believe, 14 zoomed all the way in. But we compromised with Triclops Daddy. That was half zoom. We'll give them what they need for photogrammetry between that and the cinema camera, and still allow the pilots to have some spatial awareness, as we call it, seeing the hood, so we could just barely see the front of the porch there. As we're going up and down the structures, we could see off to the side, and more importantly, when we're coming down, we don't come down on anything, and we can also see up a little bit.
Is that camera view being broadcast?
I do not know if it's being broadcast now or not.
It looks like it is. Is it?
It must be if they were asking.
Oh, yeah, in the top right of the quad. Is that it? No, that's not it. That's the...
That's not it. Not being broadcast at this time, it looks like.
Maybe we can broadcast that for Tom K.
Sorry, which camera?
The,
ROV upper.
Oh,
the upper.
It's actually, I should change those names. It's supposed to be called WCA upper for the wide field camera array.
No, Danny Cam 2.
Yeah, when you write the check, we'll call it Danny Cam.
No.
That was a huge, huge grant for us to get this camera system.
No, it's huge. It's awesome.
It's made by Sexton Underwater in Salem, Oregon. Just about 40 minutes from my house.
That's now available on the quad view.
Yeah, it looks like it's in the bottom left of the quad.
Great.
So maybe now that that's being broadcast, can you show the zoom options again, Dan?
Well, where it currently is where it will automatically go for photogrammetry. And that's halfway between zoom fully out, which is
Ooh.
that. And which we'll probably have it set to that while we're doing some of the jewelry, while we're getting, for example, when we're getting the bars off and getting the gas tights ready. And we can also zoom all the way in, and it looks like a normal camera, which puts the focal point of the camera about the same place the Zeus usually is, just maybe a meter or so in front of the vehicle. Like if I porched all the way out, you would see just the bottom of the porch there. Mm-hmm. And then the photogrammetry is right about, it's hard for me to set up here with the, it's pretty close to right there. And that's all set, so when you press that start button for the photogrammetry, it will blast all the correct settings to the cameras, both the upper and the lower camera. So it'll set the, the exposure triangle and the zoom and the other myriad of settings in that camera that are above my understanding.
do you think we can switch these two butt cam?
We could.
So Atalanta is kind of
on the left?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to publish a bunch of blanks of this layout. and get feedback from everybody before we start hammering. We can definitely switch them on the fly right now.
Okay.
Of course, just after I got used to them.
The reason, so there's a method to the madness of why they're that way.
Okay.
The Herc aft camera is right in my peripheral view. So especially around the vents. So this is a dive, this is an expedition specific salvo. And when we're working around the vents, especially like Grotto, which we're going to do tonight, we'll literally have that tail touching the rocks quite a bit. So as we try and move around in Grotto, it's really tight in there. And that way I can see all the time. I don't have to do ping pong or tennis match and look up there. So I'll notice something coming into my peripheral view. And it's the same with the 2 rail cameras. Although I think I got those backwards. Those are meant to be like rear view mirrors. So from a pilot's perspective,
Yeah.
we actually...
Yeah, this is just confusing because we usually have everything Atalanta on that side, everything Hercules on this side.
Yeah,
So
not for this layout. We have Atalanta right above it, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm just saying, it's confusing.
Yeah. I probably will switch the 2 rail cams. Other than that, this is, and we'll probably, when we get down, we'll probably put the PTZ up there and that down there. We can do all that from here. But it makes sense in my reptile brain, the process, to be able to see my backup cam. I don't pay as much of attention to that. In fact, that camera could probably be over there and 180 could be over there. But in this case, we're watching the tail to tail.
I mean, you can put the tail where I have the back deck cam.
Yeah, I didn't know any other way to do that, but I wanted all the ROV ancillary cameras in my peripheral view. I didn't want any of that hocus pocus because I'm not looking at it. And yeah, the only reason I have the winch up there is just as a default, because people will press the dive salvo button, and I wanted the winch to be in your face. We had a runaway, level line runaway on the recovery, last recovery. And we had it big screen here in the Zeus. If we wouldn't have caught that, it could have, would have probably trashed the cable. We would have had to cut 50 meters of cable off and then do a mechanical return and a load test and all the motor tests and all the, what had taken probably 24 hours of downtime. Assuming that we actually got the ROVs back at that point because, you know, going through the winch.
Dan, that sounds like that would have been a big oops.
What's that?
That sounds like that's what we call a big oops.
Yeah, I've been through a couple catastrophic level line failures in my time doing this, and they are, yeah, big oops. It's usually a expedition ending event.
Well, none of those, please.
Don't want one of those.
Maybe we'll, let's put a positive spin on it. What's your favorite thing about Nautilus Live?
This right here.
Yeah?
Yeah. Being able to have friends and family and people experience this. It's absolutely magical to be sitting here in a room full of engineers and scientists and joyriding this ROV around. And this is one of the most awesome places on the planet to dive an ROV right here in Endeavour. Doesn't get any better than this. And to be able to share that with people is one of the unique things about Nautilus.
It's what makes me want to come out here.
Yeah.
How about you, Jake?
Favorite thing about
Nautilus Live, yeah.
I'm going to try to come around.
honestly, probably the same thing.
When we get a little
As
closer.
Dan.
Okay.
The current's got me now. It's not me.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we like to see a little bit better over here when we're diving is the wire cam. Amazing.
Steph, I'm going to ask you, too, what's your favorite part? Because I think this is a new experience for you.
Yeah, my first time on board a vessel for so long. Really enjoying it so far. Yeah, it's been really nice. I mean, we saw sperm whales the other day. That was really cool. I've never seen one before.
Yeah, that was awesome. There were 3 of them, we think.
Yeah, I think quite a few.
Yeah.
Saw some albatross. And yeah, just being in this room while we dive, it's really cool. It's like being on a spaceship.
Very cool, very cool. And how about you, Ashley?
Favorite part of Nautilus Live?
Sure.
Yeah, well, it's his favorite thing, so.
Well, I love this.
I'm probably pulling on
And I love
Atalanta a
being,
little bit. I can try and back off.
I think being able to see these big swells from the Nautilus is just really cool.
Can we have another 30 meters, 150? Thank you.
To your point, Ashley, it is definitely a whole body experience to come out here, isn't it? You get kind of chucked around in these waves.
It's hard to get those thrusters spinning slow. You gotta goose them to open them up, and then you can back off, and you can get right around 12%. I think they're still spinning. Anything less than they stop. %. Will pull Atalanta.
Got a viewer excited about the whales we saw, and reminding that there's that fabulous video on Nautilus Live where the sperm whale came down and had a look at the ROV. That was in the Gulf of Mexico, I believe. And that's a great one.
It was a great video.
Yeah, it was the Gulf of Mexico, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Fabulous. Who knows? Maybe they'll show up today as well. Probably not the same one. Well, maybe. Danny, what are you most looking forward to seeing on the bottom? What do you hope we see first? Or most?
Well, I mean, always looking at the hydrothermal vents is absolutely my favorite part of this cruise.
Yeah?
They are so unique and so rare to be able to go and explore them the way we can. I'm really excited to see what Norbit can do with the hydrothermal vents and the smokestacks.
It's like the eye of God. It can see everything.
I'm excited.
Assuming Jake can get it turned on. How you making out in that department there, Mr.
Just,
Brownie?
you know, things are going great. I have like 12 terminals open.
I guess you're not ready to come up here and take over for me, are you?
I can swap over to you if you want.
And then who's going to run the winch?
It's amazing. I have a left hand.
AJ, what are you looking forward to seeing the most? Or maybe getting off the science agenda?
Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. At this dive? Or
Yeah.
at Endeavor?
Yeah, like what are you looking forward to most? And if it's a bad time, I won't forget. I'll circle back.
No, that's okay. I don't know. The Endeavor's just super cool. I like looking around at all the new, or not new, I guess they're old hydrothermal vents, but seeing how they change over the years. I think one of the hydrothermal vents that we visited last year had sort of gone dormant for the first time. And that was a very sort of interesting change in the Endeavor landscape. And these towers, they build up and then they collapse. And so in the past, we've had the shelf kind of collapse, which has caused a lot of grief for us because it kind of covered some of our instrumentation and our cables and severed some of our cables.
Yeah, it did.
But as painful as that is, it's also kind of a fun challenge because you don't really know what's waiting for you there, and you have to kind of come up with solutions on the spot or see how you can try to rescue your equipment, and it's just a very dynamic environment. So I think, especially given the earthquake swarm that we saw earlier this year, I think there's a good chance that we're diving into some new or changed landscape, which is neat. And if you know, this is maybe only my third or fourth cruise where we've come to Endeavor, and there's a lot of different sites, but you sort of start to become familiar with them, and then when things are different, it's kind of exciting, especially because like a lot of the sites that we visit elsewhere from Endeavor, I mean, they're the same every year. Nothing changes on the abyssal plane, so that's what's
Starting to swing around.
fun about Endeavor.
Neat. Steph, you got a list?
Not really, but I guess just like everyone else, really excited to see the hydrothermal vents. This is only the second Nautilus cruise I've been around for at ONC, so just excited to see everything down there.
Cool. I love seeing all the animal adaptations. I mean, I hate to geek out on biology. No, I love actually geeking out on biology.
I love geeking out on biology.
Yeah, so I don't hate it. I love doing it, actually. And so I'm really excited to see the critters and you know, building what on everybody else has said. If there's been major changes down there, does that bring in different species, different critters? What way?
Good question.
You know, what's the effective change on these?
Yeah, that's
these
a good point.
thingies?
That'll be cool to see. Hopefully see some of those tube worms.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody else want to chime in on that one? Alrighty. Oof. There's some folks asking about today, and I don't know exactly how large they are, but if you see us swaying back and forth in the control van, that's why. Got some swells giving us some motion.
According to Windy, they're something like 3.2 meters, but they don't feel quite like 3.2 meters. They feel less. So
Really?
I think if they were 3.2 meters, we wouldn't be diving with the sub.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless the period was long enough. Like, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
That one that just came through was 1.9.
That's based on ship heave?
That is what we call the barfometer. The A-frame plus.
Oh,
We're
okay.
getting 1.4.
Okay, well now that I know that that's
1.9.
1.9, 1.4.
And the average is probably 1.5.
Okay, now I agree with AJ. I was a little dubious before, but
But that's up. So that's from neutral. So plus minus that, double that. All right, if we go up 1.5 meters, we come back down 1.5 meters. So that's a 3 meter swell.
oh, I thought it was 3 meters one direction. 3 meters up and then that's 1 and then 3 meters back down.
Yeah, I don't know how that equates to the actual waves.
Oh, okay, all right.
Or do they? Yeah.
I do know the
We work in how far we go up and down, how far Atalanta's going up and down, and how far that A-frame's going up and down, what that's doing to our wire.
good to know. Just for our listeners, the period between the is between the waves, so how close together they are. So if they're really close together, we get them kind of back to back to back to back. If they're further apart, longer period, we get one and then can chill, and we get another one.
So how does that work when they count wave height? It's from a flat ocean to the height? It doesn't count the troughs?
I am not the one to ask. I have to do some research.
Yeah, I can't remember one's height and then one's amplitude with the troughs and without the troughs. I think height. I don't know, I'm going to mess it up. But then there's like the significant wave height is something like, it's some percentage. It's not your biggest wave. It's like the top 60th percentile of the waves in the spectrum. I used to know these.
Grant on shore support just said that wave height is from the trough to the peak.
Okay, so it is from the
and amplitude doesn't include the trough. Thanks, Grant.
Cool.
Yeah,
There
thanks
you
for
go.
that. So my barfometer is correct then. 3 meter swells.
Well, much like a big fish story, every time I tell it to friends and family, it'll get a little bigger. Yep. Did I ever tell you about the time out on Nautilus when I survived those 18-meter swells? No? I hope we're never out in that.
That was the biggest one coming through. Our average is, looks like it's closer to 2 meter, plus or minus a meter.
What's the biggest swell you can dive in?
We launched right pretty close to the edge of our weather envelope there, wind and wave-wise. Generally, on vessels this size, it's 2 or 2.5 meters, 25 knot winds, and 2 knot currents. 2 and 2 is more like a conservative 2 meter swells, 20 knot winds, 2 knots of current. We were right about, we had 23 knots gusting to 27. It's down right now and hovering between 20, so a few up there, 27 knot gusts. Closer to 20. So
Thanks,
yeah,
Dan.
20 knots, 2 meter swells, living on the edge in the name of science. As long as the vessel can hold position, that's one of our obviously major metrics. And it depends on the frequency, how fast the swells are coming through, and whether the ship's able to put them on the bow. So in a 20 knot wind, if they can also have a weather heading where they have the wind and the swells on the bow. That's a lot easier than, say, if you had a long fetch on the beam. And so it was struggling with to keep our nose into the wind, plus the big roll. That would reduce our likelihood of being able to launch, or make our recovery a lot more spicy.
There's a viewer here wanting to know what everyone's favorite sea creature is. And I gotta say, Danny, mine is under contention from the gummy squirrel. Yesterday's gummy squirrel, because I got that name is just so perfect. It comes in different colors. I don't know. My original favorite was the Nautilus, and I know that's a little on the nose, but I promise I had that before this. And now it's the gummy squirrel, I think.
So actually, I have a update to my favorite octopus. My favorite octopus is a granulodon.
A granulodon?
Granulodon. It's a purple octopus that I happened to chase around last year.
Okay.
With Hercules.
Neat. Well, I'll give the gummy squirrel a good place in my heart. How about you, Jake? You got a favorite sea creature?
A beluga whale.
Beluga whale.
Yes.
Neat. Like one for the mammals. Steph?
What's that?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to come up with just one.
Right.
I'm going to need to have a think on that.
Fair enough, fair enough. How about you now, if you got a favorite?
Favorite sea creature?
And I do know there are many to choose from.
I gotta go crinoid.
Crinoid. Interesting. Any particular one or the whole family?
No particular one. Whole family.
Cool. I like it. Hopefully we'll get to see some of those actually when we see the bottom, maybe.
Lynette likes it when they jump off the corals when they come up.
I didn't know they jumped off corals. How about you, Video? What's your favorite?
I love seeing the Dumbo octopus.
Cool. And Dan?
My favorite sea creature. Right now it's a toss-up between a benthic ctenophore and just your plain old red dragon ctenophore.
Ooh, ctenophore. Now that's a good one.
Voracious predators of the deep ocean. I really like it when we can get they get attracted to the lights, or they just happen to be floating by and we can get a good zoom and they have all their LEDs turned on. I know they're not LEDs, but it looks like it to me.
Well, and again, I'm already waffling. I'm already changing my mind because I do really love the lanternfish that we're seeing on our way by as well. Those are high on my list. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we are making our way down to the Endeavour field, looking for some hydrothermal vents. We're at about 1,500 meters or so on our way to the way down. What's our first job when we get down there?
Get rid of this contraption on the front porch.
I see, I like it.
We're going to be replacing what we call a BARS instrument, which is a benthic and resistivity sensor. It's got a probe that will tell us temperature and a couple of other water properties. I think conductivity is one of them. And we place it into the into a black smoker. And combined with the samples that we take when we install them, which we call gas tights, they're isobaric water samples, the scientists can figure out what's coming out of these black smokers and how it's changing through time. And so the one that we had here has failed on us, and so we've got a fresh replacement for it. These things are notoriously difficult to install, and they are very difficult to keep alive because these hydrothermal vents, these black smoker chimneys are changing, and if they move in any direction, then either the temperature probe will no longer be in the black smoker, or it'll move and it'll just incinerate our instrument with its heat. So you'll see that the wand itself is covered in like a thermal blanket, which you can actually see on the porch of the ROV. That's like the white sort of cloth that's then wrapped in orange tape. And that's to try to protect the wand itself from being set on fire from the heat. But yeah, it still happens sometimes.
Huh. Now, Dan, you were telling me yesterday about phase change? Is that right? You said it looked like fire.
He doesn't have his comms on right now. You'll have to get him later.
No worries, no worries. And thank you to the viewer who mentioned there's a video on our page called Falling Brittle Stars, if you want to see those crinoids jumping off the corals, I guess. And yep, of course, great archives online. Do check out our socials as well. We've got really cool stuff happening on the socials that are maybe a little bit of a different insight. You get to see some of the things like life on board and deck ops and all sorts of other stuff. So if you're not on our socials, have a look there. Great place to find stuff. And that's Nautilus Live and Ocean Networks Canada. AJ, you mentioned that there might be some changes in this location when we get there. What signals a change? What do we look for? What's our evidence?
Well, I mean, I think the most probable change would be sort of maybe a collapse of some of the hydrothermal vent. And so that's something that we would just be able to see, sort of knowing where things were in the past or having video footage from the past to compare it to. In this dive, we're going to try to do some multibeam mapping and photogrammetry, and that would actually give us an actual record to compare against future trips, which would show us these changes in a more complete way. But without that baseline to work off of, we really only have sort of previous dive video. We do have a camera down there. We're replacing it later in this cruise with a new camera, and then, but that's mostly focused, I think, on biology in the region. That wouldn't really have a wide enough angle to watch as hydrothermal vents eroded or built themselves back up. So yeah, I think if you maybe didn't know what this looked like before, it might not be that easy to tell that there's been a change. There could also be, sometimes when these shelves collapse, you see sort of all the rubble, the fresh rubble on the ground that maybe has vent worms or something still on it, but is clearly no longer on the vent. So that would maybe be evidence of a change.
Do you ever see like crystals inside the the chimneys or anything like that?
There's a lot of pyrite. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if Dan might know better because he's been here a lot more than I have. But definitely when we pull up old instruments that have gotten encased in the rock, they come up with a lot of very shiny pyrite on them.
That's neat.
I've got a question for you, Monica.
Please.
Do we have some way to see our socials that doesn't require us to have a login to a social network? Like, are the posts only on social networks, or are they also on our website?
I'm going to have to check. I am fairly certain that, like for example, on X, formerly Twitter, you should be able to just see the posts. I think Instagram as well.
I was being prompted to sign up.
Ooh. Actually, a really good spot if you're not interested in signing up for things, because I do absolutely respect that people aren't interested in that, is we will be posting some blogs, both on the Nautilus site and the Ocean Networks Canada site, and that has information as well that our viewers can enjoy.
I keep getting this screen when I go to the Ocean Networks, and then when I click away it.
Oh, interesting. Well, I can tell you if you
I'll try Instagram.
Yeah, if you jump over to Instagram, yep, you can see the posts there without signing in. It would love it if I would sign in, and of course, if you do follow, you will get those alerts. But yes, Instagram, you can get the posts as without signing in, without having to do that. And same thing, so that's Nautilus Live, and then of course Ocean Networks, Ocean_Networks. That will give you the posts that we've got there. So yeah, that's open to everybody without a login needed.
Ah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, great reminder to share that with everybody. And like I said, there are going to be some blogs out as well that are worth checking out if you're looking for a little bit extra information. They still won't open.
At least I can see them.
Yeah, exactly. We can see them. Yep, get some folks online as well, confirming they are open on socials, and that nautiluslive.org does have recent social posts at the bottom of the page, and I believe Ocean Networks does too. And if you're listening in this morning, of course, we are open for questions. And if you'd like to submit some, we'll do our best to answer them. And of course, thanks to everybody who's helping out. Got lots of folks saying, yep, can see things, some socials. And for folks who are just tuning in, we are descending. We are on our way down to look at some hydrothermal vents. We've gone down about 1,800 meters. And I believe our destination is 2,300 this time.
$21.96.
Oh man, so we'll get those sooner than I was thinking. Yeah, and nautiluslive.org does have social medias at the bottom of the page, so there's another place you can check that out. Got some folks wondering how long it will take to get to the vents, and my understanding is we're going to land fairly close to them to begin with, aren't we?
We'll try to land ourselves in a safe location a few meters away, but it's not too far a drive over to them. It would only be about 30 to 40 meters away.
And there you go. So we are almost there. Would we start seeing smoke, or have we chosen this descent location to avoid any of that?
I don't think we'll be able to see any change in the water. I know in the past sometimes we'll take water samples from mid-water column when we're sort of hovering above the black smokers. But I think if you're not right down at the chimneys themselves, it's hard to see in a camera that there's minerals and stuff in the water around you coming from the smokers.
Fair enough. Hercules, are you noticing any changes, or temperature changes, or would you experience temperature changes?
Currently?
Yeah. I'm assuming all that hot fluid as it goes out, it probably dissipates fairly quickly.
Yeah, extremely quickly. We're at ambient temperature at this point, so at ambient ocean temperature in the deep sea, so it's about 2 degrees Celsius. And then, yeah, usually maybe even just a meter from the vent, you'll be just around ambient temperatures. I think it dissipates very quickly.
That's got to be kind of helpful, actually, so that you don't, spend a lot of time going through a hot cloud.
Yeah, yeah. Don't want to fry any components on the vehicle.
I've got a viewer wondering how long it takes to learn to pilot an ROV, or navigate if we prefer the term, or drive real good. Jake, how long have you been learning?
I came on board as an intern about 5 years ago, and Nautilus is very much a learn by doing type of ship, so you get thrown into things pretty quickly and have to figure things out. You have a lot of good people with lots of experience to train you, but it's I really enjoy that type of environment. I've found, but yeah, you get thrown into situations that you've never dealt with before all the time, and you have to learn and use the folks who have more experience to kind of get things done.
So I guess there is no time it takes to learn. You're always learning.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Now, this one I definitely don't know the answer to, but I will invite anybody to answer if they want to. Got a group wondering if there's any D&D players on board. Anybody? Maybe I'll expand that question. What do people like to do when they're not on the ship?
Well, no, I can tell you that Nico Bailey, the other dive lead, is a massive D&D fan. Huge D&D guy.
Okay, all right. I'll have to follow up with him. Yeah. What do you like to do when you're not on the ship?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I don't know.
All right. All right, that's fine.
Hiking, camping. I recently bought a house, so I'm learning how to keep it from imploding.
Okay, yep, that makes sense. All of a sudden you got the upkeep. How about you, Steph? What do you like to do when you're not on the ship? Are you a D&D player?
No, I've never played D&D before, actually. I hear it's fun, though, but never got into it. You know, we live I live in Victoria, like a lot of us at ONC, and it's a beautiful place to enjoy the outdoors. So I try and do that as much as I can. Just get outside, play sports.
Nice, nice.
What sports do you play, Steph?
I play soccer, and recently in the last few months I got into basketball, which is actually really fun, but yeah, very humbling.
You should join our ONC basketball team.
I didn't know there was an ONC basketball team.
Well, there isn't, but a bunch of us play on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where do you guys play?
At UVic.
Oh, nice. I've been playing in Esquimalt.
Oh.
Yeah, on Tuesdays.
Oh, we play Saturday mornings.
All right.
Cohen and Albert and myself. We're trying to convince Nico.
So a bunch of really tall men.
Albert's not very tall.
I don't know if I've met Albert. We'll see, we'll see.
Albert's the only one who knows what he's doing out there, though.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing, but
Yeah, me neither.
I play with in like a women's pickup game, so
Nice.
I've got height advantage, which is nice.
Yeah, right on.
Lynette, what do you like to do in your spare time? Or your time off ship?
Spare time.
Yeah, such a generous term. Time you're not on the ship. How about that?
Yeah, I think, like most people have said, hiking, camping, sports, in a volleyball league, curling.
Curling, that's a good one.
Yeah. Lumberjack sports.
Lumberjack sports, nice.
Yeah.
Do you compete in lumberjack?
I haven't for a while. Yeah.
Is that like cutting logs and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
I used to love watching the lumberjack sports on TV.
Yeah.
The like one where they like cut in a panel of wood and then go and stand on it and then cut in another one. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Did you do that one?
Unfortunately, no, I never did that event. That is considered a men's event.
Ruh-roh.
Which ones did you do?
So chopping is probably my favorite. Underhand chop is where you stand on the log and chop between your feet. Standing block chop is a vertical log that you cut in half, sort of simulating falling a tree. Single buck, cross cut, log rolling. Yeah, bunch of stuff.
Neat. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
How about you, Jake?
Free time.
Or again, not Nautilus time. We are all busy people. Maybe it's not free. It's just not Nautilus time.
Yeah. I like to fish, clam, spend time in the water. I recently bought a bowling ball. I've been bowling a lot.
Nice.
A lot of fun with that. And yeah, I don't know, all different types of stuff.
You know, if you go to the bowling alley, they just have balls for you there. Like, you know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that go into bowling balls. Actually, there's a lot of physics involved with how the cores are placed within the ball, so you can get like with a typical bowling ball at an alley, you don't get much spin if you try to spin it because it's evenly displaced, the mass throughout the ball. But if you have a ball with
Custom.
like a core that's offset within the ball from the center, then you get more momentum with spin, and so it spins differently, and there's like millions of types of balls. It's crazy. But
that explains why I'm not very good. I'm always trying to spin these stinky balls they give us.
Yeah, I'm going to blame it on the ball.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Now, are you playing 10 pin or 5 pin?
10 pin.
Okay, all right. All right, Dan, you're up.
We have what we call
see stuff in Atalanta.
DBL beams, so we're close to the bottom here, so we're probably gonna get busy up here. I'm all stop on the winch there.
I'll stop, Roger.
Okay, I'm going to switch you over to DBL.
Okay, sounds good.
There's a great comment here saying, do we sing sea shanties on the ship? I would say at this point, so far, I have not heard a sea shanty. I have seen a few guitars and other instruments make their way on board, so I don't think it's off the table. But I also don't know that there's any guitar-based sea shanties. I feel like that's a...
Anything can be a sea shanty.
I guess so. I would worry that if we started with sea shanties, that means we're going to have to start with sea jobs, like pulling ropes and stuff.
You never know.
Yeah. Yep.
I know you didn't get to me on that question, but...
Well, I'm going to circle back, so why not take it away there, my friend? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I obviously do a lot of different things that not everyone else does, because I'm not athletic in any way, shape, or form. I'm more of a, what you call a nerd. I build high-performance gaming PCs, I play PC gaming, and I build with Legos, as well as do a lot of 3D printing.
Continue down.
So I design and make a lot of things on my 3D printer.
Yeah.
Now I
can.
can.
You hear me okay?
Now I can.
Right. Coming down.
Have you ever made Legos on your 3D printer?
I've thought about it.
No? All right.
But no, I usually, I'll buy the sets and build them. My house is completely full of every kind of Lego you can think of. We have Hogwarts Castle, I have rockets, I have construction cranes, I have a Hogwarts village. My partner loves building the themed houses and villages.
I love the details in Lego. They have little secrets hidden inside them.
I'm about 90% done with the Titanic.
Cool. How big is your version of the Titanic?
Well, the Lego Titanic is
there you
about
go.
4 feet long.
Yep. Where are you going to put it when you're done?
Well, the reason why it's not done yet is because I actually ran out of space.
Why don't you
But I
come underneath and come? Your target is up here to the north. Is that right, Lynette?
In my office, and it's going to sit on top of it.
Very good.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come underneath me and come up to the
All
north.
right. You want to put in...
Everyone else is doing athletics, and I'm sitting over here like, no, I'm just a nerd.
Yeah, I put myself in that category as well. I'm really good at small detail things. I like to sculpt. I like to do beading. I like to do that kind of focused work.
Danny, what's the biggest thing that you 3D printed, biggest object?
Biggest object I've 3D printed. I'm gonna say what I printed right before I came out here, and that was Starship and Super Heavy. But I 3D print and prototype all kinds of things that we use on the ROV and send to the bottom of the ocean.
Hey, Monica?
Yes.
We're about 63 meters off the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
We have sonar targets all around us. So can we
Absolutely, we can.
Focus.
You got it.
It's going to get really boring here, then really exciting. So we got to come down and do all of our on seabed checks, but we're going to come down around several structures, giant one to the north of us. And we're going to try and come down and land in a hole known as the grotto. That's right at the base of Smoke and Mirrors, one of the most fantastic vents at Endeavour.
Okay, directly
under me.
Directly under me. Well, your camera's looking forward a little bit, but...
Roger. I think you're...
10 meters.
Yeah. You see grotto and bars here?
We want to land at IP.
Oh, we want to land at IP.
Yeah.
Is that where we're going to drop the bars?
Nope. I think the intention is to land at IP and then follow cables to bars.
Okay. I can't hear you, AJ. You're not on SPL. Is he listening?
Sorry, was that me?
Yeah, are you on SPL?
I am, yeah. We're having a bit of a side conversation here.
Oh, roger. So we're about 60 meters off the deck here. We got sonar targets around. According to Lynette's dive plan, we're meant to land, come down at the IP, and then follow the cable to grotto?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Just double checking. You know how
Nope,
plans change.
all good.
Coming down.
All right, heading down.
So you want to be headed probably northeast.
Here's our target.
I feel like the walls are closing in. It's always nerve-wracking coming down here for the first time. We have sonar targets all around Atalanta. That delta, right? You're that far below me?
Yep.
Roger. You're pulling me around a little. Should wait for me.
Waiting.
I can come a little faster, I guess. I don't know, I can't see the winch in that little bitty quad. Okay, that should be good there, Dick. Seems to be getting smoky. We're 20 meters off now. Still no Herc sonar.
Nope.
I'm going to turn off the, or you can turn off your downlights. Be able to see the seabed now. Amazing.
Oh yeah, there we go. Seafloor.
Yeah, you're looking for an instrument platform. Smack in front of you if last year's nav targets are right, but we know they're not. Okay, I'll stop on the winch.
Roger. I'll stop.
That doesn't seem right somehow.
Sea cables.
Sea cables? That's
Yeah.
outside. Three, 7, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
Oh, lots of cables.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. It's our busiest site. We have 2 junction boxes in pretty close proximity, servicing quite a large swath of equipment.
I think I see it.
Yeah, I see it in the...
Yeah.
And then when the rocks fall on your cables and sever them, you have to lay new ones, so you end up with a lot of cables.
You're gonna have to come down a bit more, I think.
Roger. Let's come down on top of it and let Lynette get a new fix on it.
Roger.
2024 fix. Are you going to do different colors? What's your
All that
2024 color going to be? I'm 28 meters off, 27 meters off, something like that.
we'll let you folks do your gauges and get all dialed in and then taken in position and then let us know.
Gauges are good.
Oh, wonderful.
So how far off was nav, by the way? Were you guys bang on to the actual?
Close enough for science work.
10 meters or so.
That's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. Lynette took us right to it.
$10 south, east, west?
It looks like
About
we're
10 south.
yeah, south of it.
Was that planned to go south of it, or is it planned to go right on top?
Plan was to go right to it.
Lynette, are you getting a position for this junction box? Or this the bars?
Yeah, stand by.
Is this the bars or the junction box?
This is the junction box.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this
That's
is
what I
JB12.
Yeah, okay.
And ROV, if you can line up with one side of it and give us a heading.
Roger. This is
How about this side?
south. What is that? 187.
Perfect, thank you.
That's from the south view, you said?
Yeah, that'll be 187's facing almost due south. So that'll be looking like this.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you want me to read that position too?
Yes, please.
Okay. 47.894965 north. 129.098.71428 west. We are at a depth of 2194 meters. And current Herc heading 183.
So Dan, first things first is to, we can stage the bars wherever we want. So why don't we go have a look at the Grotto Bars ledge and see if there's any room there for us to put this new one down.
Roger.
Alternatively, we could put it here and come back for it.
We got enough other cameras. If Jake's happy, I'm
Is
happy.
there a section?
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Pilot, can
Right
camera
before
white
we forgot
balance ROV main?
Oh, go again, video? What was that?
Can I white balance ROV main?
Negative.
Yeah, we kind of have an arm in the way at the moment.
Okay,
Might be able to do it later once we release
copy.
the instrument.
Yeah, we'll give you a chance definitely before we start doing the photogrammetry. But we got to get some of the stuff off the vehicle first. You're going to want to go right about here. You can try to follow a cable there.
Nick route.
Head northeast.
Head northeast.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
gonna have to move the ship, I think.
You'll definitely have to move the ship.
Well,
I'm going to bring Atlantis head just a little bit to starboard, but it's almost bang on northeast now.
All right, 25 meters northeast.
Yeah, Atlantis heading is also 045. All the big chunky stuff's behind
Bridge
us.
nav.
So Dan, if it's all right with you, we're thinking of taking the
Can we
scenic
have
route
25
around
meters,
Rogers Pass.
045, please? Thank you.
Won't be too scenic with this arm in our face.
We've still got a lot of cameras to look at. It'll help us figure out how we want to do our photogrammetry later. We can come up quite high and look for smoke.
Yeah, how's your ballast, Jake?
Pretty good. I got no Z-bias out then.
Yeah, so we're heavy.
We are heavy.
If you want to do that, I'd like to get the bars off here.
Okay. Well, then we'll just go straight to the bars then.
Yeah, so we're
we'll head east.
Yeah, we're heavy.
And then north.
We're heavy, so I'm not sure where I want to fly through Rogers Pass with the arm. And although we've done it, we've done it with more than that in our face, haven't we?
But you go over, right? You don't go through. I don't think you've ever gone through.
Oh, I've gone through.
We've gone through.
Underneath?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't what we were recommending. But yeah, it'd go the other way. It's fine too.
Yeah, it's just ROV's just barely floating right now.
Right.
Like he has zero bias on, so if we get in trouble, we'll have to actually thrust up. We can't float up. And that would,
I'm actually sinking a bit here.
yeah, that would obscure the visibility, and we could get. It wouldn't. Yeah.
It was heavy on launch too. It was immediately.
Yeah, it was sinking.
Sinking.
Yeah,
Once we set the instrument down, we're good to do whatever.
Your only hazard here is probably to the west. It's that 8-meter high sediment trap.
Yeah. Was that before or after the 250 earthquakes?
Yeah, and there's an 8-meter high sediment trap in unknown location also somewhere down here.
I know where that sediment trap is. If it didn't float away.
It floated south.
Did it? After all that?
Yeah.
Killing me. I think
Was that the one that was
I walked out of the room.
weirdly ballasted last year or something? Yeah.
The RAS?
Is that the one?
No, not the RAS. The RAS is still there.
Yeah. Who knows what's down here, mate?
Yeah, you're going to have to get in right behind the RAS for this bars. You're going to love it. I can tell you already.
I thought this bars was in the grotto. It is in the grotto.
It is. That's where the RAS PPS is as well.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, let's get there as quick as we can and get rid of this thing.
We're just getting Atalanta to the northeast of us.
No,
Yep.
Atalanta's going to stay behind us, but she's moving that way.
Okay.
Yep, moving in that direction.
You'll have to stay up a ways if you're heavy too. We could swing that thing out, but I'd rather have it tucked in while we're
It's fine.
there.
It's fine.
You got the other camera. Got no pretty maps in our dive plan. Start moseying if you want, Jake. Tilt up a little here.
Responding to K2, 1 second.
So once you're comfortable with Atalanta's position, we're going to follow cables to the west, and then they turn kind of northeast
Okay.
To the west.
Or sorry, east. Sorry, east and then northeast.
Right.
Thanks, Dan. It's going to be a big cluster of cables, PBOF cables with tape on them.
Okay, so this is east,
Yeah, it's
east-ish.
Yeah,
This
east,
bundle.
east, northeast, yeah. Yeah. At some point, that green foul mat, that curly green foul mat's going to go to the right, and the cables will continue to the left, and we'll follow the cables to the left.
Nice.
There's a couple tall gotcha rocks up here, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember these cables all wrapped around the rocks.
Yeah, laying these cables was fun.
Yeah, it was. We're gonna have to wait for Atalanta there. I can come down a bit, but I don't
That's
want to
alright.
come down too much.
Ooh, a fish.
I think our next move will have to be to the west.
You're talking ship move, Dan? West?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
West is away from us.
East.
Oh, sorry, east.
Aha.
Okay.
West.
I just did it.
Thanks. You're just trying to make me feel better.
Sorry. Away from the big rocks, which are all on our left.
Yeah.
That way.